I'll tune it when we get on. Livy, you look good.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dude.
Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. What are we doing?
Hey, Hog Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The Dumb Show and his website, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
It was a maniacal start to the show. I tell you what, we scrambling to get. You look beautiful. Look at you. You don't look too bright. Does anyone think Olivia looks too bright? Let's bring her down a little bit. It's just your decadent glow of radiance is emanating proportionately to your spiritual ubiquitousness.
It's okay. Every time I come over on the night show, I mess your guys' flow up, so it's okay.
You do. I was going to say it's really your fault, and I didn't want to go ahead and throw you under the bus yet again, but here we are. Liv?
Yes.
Look straight ahead. Too dark. I think a 3 is going to suit you beautifully tonight.
Okay.
And then I'm going to bring down your Philips hue above your head a little bit and bring that back to that little bit of soft glow of blue. Wow, you just decadent. All right, sweetheart.
You amaze me all the time, Matt. I can't believe
we need to get off the show early is what we need to do, because I'll tell you what, my love is a rose and I am thorny.
Please don't. Please don't.
Mike looks good, but it's a little, you know what? We need a fill light. That's okay. We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure it all out. Welcome to the show. We've got some people on. Let's see who we've got. A lot of people.
A lot of people on.
Yeah, that popped quick. Spreely TV. Good to have everybody here. We've got a 2-hour show tonight. We will be on until 10 o'clock. If you haven't been over to Spreely.tv, go and type in Spreely.tv and hit the Freedom Hub. From there, you can see the Spreely social media app, the videos, et cetera, et cetera. This is going to be the network that's going to be launching on Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick, et cetera. This is coming in the next few weeks. They're building our profiles right now. They're getting all of our videos up there. So it's taking a little bit of time, but you can go there and watch the show on your Roku, Fire Stick, or your Apple TV right now, or any type of over-the-top device. We're on all of it. Just go and look for Spreely TV or Freedom Hub, and that will take care of you. Of course, our Rumble viewers, good to see everybody over on Rumble. Rumble's doing well. Olivia loved Rumble at one point, but she seems to be in love with YouTube lately.
No.
What's up with you cheating, and what's going on with YouTube?
Well, I love Rumble still. I'm just trying to get YouTube up to 1,000 users or subscribers.
A little bit higher on volume there, sweetie. Project.
And we're close. Do I need to move the mic?
No, you just need to talk. You're whispering because you're doing something else, and your voice always goes down when you're.
Because I'm focusing.
Your
on
voice
something
always
else.
gets low and husky when you're distracted.
And you would know.
I would know. Mike, if it's awkward, sorry, just stick around. It'll get worse.
It's okay. You guys are in another room. It's totally fine.
That's right. That's right. We can't fit much else in here, though. My ego takes up way too much space. Mike, let's go ahead and introduce him, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to start with this. Because this is
okay. Here we go.
You're going to start with you. We're going to start with you, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Martinez is with us. Here he is.
sometimes have the urge to eat crayons? No.
Oh yeah, I do.
Green Crayons. Mike officially has his name. The T-shirt will be made shortly. The Green Crayons T-shirt official is coming out.
It does make me hungry.
Yeah, but you know what I was thinking? I was like, dude, because, you know, we could like totally make you Italian. We could have called you Mikey No Legs.
That is my name on basically everything else is Mikey No Legs.
Yeah, I know. I remember you said that, and it made sense after you said it. I'm like, it's an Italian thing. So, but you know what? I want to be different than your friends. They're so mean, so cruel. I mean, geez. Livia Spear, everybody.
You say worse stuff than most of them, so let's not go too.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Livia Spear, everybody. That's not the right one, Liv.
Oh,
Liv,
I pushed me.
I'm putting
I pushed.
Livia.
I pushed my button.
Try. Did you?
I did.
Hold on, because this is. Oh crap!
Did you put me on all of them?
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them. Just the ones that matter.
Do you sometimes
People
have the
wanna
urge to eat crayons?
People want to
No.
watch it again. There we go. There we go. It's all coming together. It's almost like our first show. My lord.
I'm not seeing us on Spreely.
Well, I don't know what to say. We're there. We're on time. I don't know what's going on. Does anyone have us on Spreely? Are we 5x5? Let me know. Mike, do me a favor. Give me a little chat. Say something.
Hey, can you hear me now? Is it working?
Yeah, can you bring that mic any closer?
I gotta come closer to the mic.
I'm gonna put the old mic arm up. Give me a shout. Say hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Does he sound clear? Does he sound a little?
Yeah, he sounds clear.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's just my ear. We've got to find a solution for. I'm gonna have to order a USB-C USB hub, but that's really not important right now. So stop calling me Shirley. Let's see who we've got on here. Riley says, "Got to grab dinner. We'll return." I mean, Riley, we've been on for 5 minutes. I mean, you could prep your dinners accordingly. Lady J says, "Hello, dummies. Hope all are well." Now, I never got an answer. Is that Lady J from G.I. Joe?
I don't know.
Well, I'm not asking. But are you Lady J?
No.
Okay. I'm just checking. Well, you never know. You could be. But it's Lady J 1776. So I have a feeling there weren't 1,775 other Lady J's. I think that has to do with more about bicentennial and the overall founding of our country, 1776. But the Lady J sounds G.I. Joe to me.
Mike, can you see comments on Rumble?
I do not see any comments now.
Okay.
Well, Mike.
Somebody asked, so I didn't know because he called in and
Mike, he would have to go on. If you go on to Rumble right now, you can see the account and you could do it. Mike is limited on comments because what we've got to do is we got to figure out how to get Mike in this room, or we have to relocate everything at some point because I would have to run an extremely long cable from his laptop into here to get him plugged in, and that's just not going to work. We'll have to figure something out. So the greatest thing about this show is that it constantly grows and we get more effective. Amy Elizabeth is on.
Comment about me and I'll never see it. So say
that's
whatever
true. You guys can say whatever you want about Mike. He'll never see it. Bubba, hello. Kristen, good evening. Matthew, Carrie is here. Hi, Carrie. Yeah, we got a lot of people on. A lot of regulars. Cheryl, hello. Charlie. We've got a ton of regulars on and some new bodies, new people. I don't think you're live on Facebook. Oh no, we're most assuredly live. We're live on Facebook. We're just not pushing Spreely, and we've got Rumble on. Mike looks pink. Well, you know what? You can come over here and do the cinematography. It's hard because you know what? Hold on. We need our minions to fix this. Because the lighting, he needs a fill light. It's too close.
Yeah, we're not up on Spreely.
Do me a favor. Where's your sister? Hayden, go over there and turn off both lights of Mike and turn on his overhead light, please. Everyone go do that real quick.
Lady J said that Lady J was her favorite G.I. Joe. So
there it is.
There you go.
G.I. Josephine. Let me see that. Did they turn off the other lights, Mike?
We got one more to go.
Okay, that's going to change things. Just hang tight. I know it's right. I know it's bright. It's going to get better. That's better.
There you go. Both are off.
That's adjusting. That's better. I mean, it's still too bright, but at least it's not as bright as it was. Here, let me do this. Let me bring it down a little bit. You're going to be uncomfortable, but that doesn't matter.
I'm
Who
used
cares
to it.
about if you're
That's how it
comfortable?
works.
Yeah, as long as the picture looks good. There, the picture looks great. Okay, all right. Let's close that door. Kids, close door, please. You guys are doing wonderful. I love it. Look at this. Just thank you, minions. Leave. Thank you. You've been loved. Okay. All right, let's get to it. We got a busy show tonight. Mike, what are we covering?
Oh, we got some stuff about the Marine Corps and some telling posts that they're doing. We got good old Hillary Clinton, Matt's favorite person in the world.
Love her.
And
Just love her.
Crap. What's the third one? I forget.
The unethical Candio Grabo.
Oh, that's right.
That's righto.
That's righto. So the candy grabs, and then there was another thing. What else? Kamala. We can't forget about Kamala Harris. So we've got a lot. We've got a lot tonight. If you want to call into the show, it's 804-212-2208. Love to have you on. You can tell us what you're thinking. We're going to start with the Marine Corps. It's kind of important. Mike, do you want to set us up for this? And I'll bring in a photograph for people to peruse, and we can just do the commandant letter.
Absolutely.
And,
so, for a little context for everyone, the Marine Corps birthday in every eye of the Marines is basically the greatest day of the year. It's the only day that really matters. So the fact that a combatant command is now coming out and canceling it is extremely telling. So I know Matt and I, we try to go back, other than the COVID years, trying to find a time that they actually canceled one of the Marine Corps balls, and we couldn't find it. Even for 9/11, they didn't cancel that year. That still happened. So now that this is out, that is extremely telling that the Central Command is canceling theirs because they can't take an evening off in order to actually go and celebrate the birthday. So for most of us, that is a huge flag of like, something's going down enough that they have to be there to either prepare, or something is going to be going on while it's happening that they can't leave. So to me, that's enough that it's like, hey, we're either getting in this, or there's going to be enough operations going on that they can't leave their duty stations.
So let's dive into it, right? So there have been plenty of times that leave has been canceled or altered due to conflicts. In fact, I don't think there was a Christmas that I remember that I did an 18-hour hop on a I think it was either a C-130 or a C-17. It was probably a 30. Doesn't matter. It's 17 hours with 4 refuels. And we landed in California, and then I took civilian aircraft to DIA, Colorado. I got off. I saw Stephanie Stevenson. By the way, you're a complete whore, Stephanie. Played with my heart for too long. Great Expectations personified. Just let you know. I'm not bitter or anything. My wife's hotter. Anyway, so I got off the plane. There was my dad. There's Stephanie, with her enormous booty. And she, runs to me, and I put my arms around her. Oh, that's so great. While her boyfriend is waiting for her at home and, breaking I'm still not bitter. So anyway, at that point, my pager goes off as we get my sea bag and start walking down. And my dad is not an idiot. He's in the Marine Corps. He understands, and immediately takes me down to NORAD. And from there, my dad's like, have a great holiday, have a great Christmas. And then I was back on a flight in about 4 hours after that, because Saddam Hussein decided to go ahead and launch Scuds into Israel and Kuwait, which he always did and continued to do every Christmas, just to screw with people on leave. So it happens. Now, that's one thing. Next is readiness level, right? So when we reach a certain readiness level, military forces will be on standby, and they'll have to do drills, they will have to be on base restriction, stay on base, and literally be ready to be spun up at any time. That's my understanding of where we're at, their readiness level. They're not on a lockdown the bases type thing because of a terrorist attack. That's not my understanding. This is simply a readiness level, and it's not an exercise, and that's why. Now, a lot of people said, well, it's a terrorist attack. And how I know is because the Marine Corps Marathon happened last week. It's something I attend as often as I can, especially with Flags of Valor and other companies, because it's a huge event. And honestly, if terrorists are going to hit it, they're going to hit that. That's a soft target. There's more civilians. It's a much bigger event than the Marine Corps Ball, because the Marine Corps Ball, it's not like they fly every single Marine to only one location. Mike, can you explain the Marine Corps Ball a little bit so people understand the extent of it? Is it all officers in the Marine Corps fly to one spot? Walk people through it.
So basically, each individual unit will have its own. Like headquarters Marine Corps, that's basically the ball to go to. That's going to be like the Marine Corps, but then every subordinate unit below that is going to have their own. So like my unit was 2-2. We were out of Camp Lejeune. We would normally go down to like Myrtle Beach and have our own. So basically, there's going to be thousands of balls going on. Even other folks like the VFW may have a Marine Corps ball. So it's one of those, it's going to be everyone is invited. They're going to have a guest speaker. Normally it's someone of prominence, whether it's a officer enlisted who did something noteworthy, or just someone who from a time that they want to remember. And then there's a ceremony that goes through. The oldest and youngest Marine will do the cake cutting. There's the John A. Luzerne. They will read his message, and they'll read the current commandant's message. And then basically it's a drunken stupor for the rest of the night for all the Marines. Normally, like if you're overseas, this is a embassy event. So they'll invite, like say if you're in France, they're going to invite the French government and anyone else that has embassies there. Like that's going to be an event that everyone's going to go to. And I know back in the States, it's basically every Marine that we try to get tickets to a ball, wherever we live, to try to go to these, because this is that one event that no matter how old you are, how long ago you've been in the Marine Corps, you always try to go to these, because this is a very important day. The Marines definitely care about their lineage, so this is one of those times we're going to get together, we're going to celebrate, and we're going to honor all of our friends that we've lost, and just honor the Marine Corps and everything.
And let's be honest, it's one of the only times you get to wear your dress blues. I mean,
ooh, yeah, I don't wear those anymore. We don't fit in those. That's
yeah, but during that Marine Corps ball, you're in full tilt, right?
Correct. Yeah. So all the active duty Marines and the folks that can still fit in them, they will wear their blues, and yeah, that's basically the only time you're actually going to wear them. Which it's
unless you're going to captain's mast or something like that. But even captain's mast is BDUs or just standard dress. But to be in mess dress, which is what it is, it's a pretty big deal. And I had my military dress blues, and a lot of people have different sets. A lot of people have canvas. Well, all my stuff I got through Brooks Brothers and had it custom made because I cared. And I didn't want to be wearing canvas, like not canvas, but cotton, where you could literally see through them. So I always got the, whatever the material was, it's synthetic poly. It's not a poly, it's a poly blend material. And it looks sharp. It looks a lot sharper, but there's nothing like a Marine Corps uniform. I mean, when they're in mess dress or they're in their blues, it is. There's nothing even close to it. And a lot of the Army ones are pretty damn cool now. The retros, the old World War II pinks and greens, those are neat. They
switch every 3 years. You can't make up.
I know. Yeah, the pinks and greens are cool, but they don't look as good as mess dress. There's the Marine Corps blues are the best, so there's no doubt. One of the only reasons I besides pissing off my dad is I would love to have been a Marine for that, but alas, I got the good humor uniform. Olivia.
Yes.
So when you hear all this as a mom, a civilian, somebody who is having their children who both are flirting with the idea of going in the military, and let's face it, the last 4 conflicts in the last 50 years have lasted that, right? So you've got Vietnam, you've got Korea, you've got First Gulf, you got OIF, OEF. if there's a Middle East conflict, it most assuredly will fall more than likely within Hayden and Ethan's age. More Hayden than Ethan. What are your thoughts on this?
It's a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I'm totally supportive if the kids want to join the military, but as a mom, I don't want them to, because I don't want them to have to go overseas and go off to war. And you always want to keep your baby safe. So yeah, a little worrisome that something's going to happen. So I honestly don't think Hayden will. I'm more worried about Ethan.
Yeah, because Ethan has demonstrated that he's very interested in joining.
Yes.
And I support him 120%. I don't want him to hide from it. Let me read this real quick, just so everyone can kind of understand. This is highly irregular. This is not a normal thing for the Marine Corps to do. So it's right around Veterans Day. It's not the most opportune time. And it says, I hope this letter finds you in good health and high spirits. Regretfully and with a strong sense of duty. Now that's the line that makes me nervous. I ate breakfast 300,000 yards from 400 Cubans who are trained to kill me. So don't think you can come down here in that faggoty white uniform and make me nervous.
You can't handle the truth.
No, you can't.
Oh, good pull. Good pull.
Thanks. She's so much better than you at this.
He's trying to do the.
He does a good job. He has his bomb. He just the bomb isn't everything. I can be like, oh, my mom has cancer, and he drops the bomb. I'm like, oh, dude, please.
You gotta go explore. I've got a ton of sounds on there.
We do. Okay, so that's the one that makes me nervous. I don't know about you, Mike, but regretfully they're canceling, but it says, and with a strong sense of duty. So that is Marine Corps speak from, we need to go do our job, and we may not come back, and we need to all understand that we may not come back, but this is what you were hired for. It's time to punch the fucking clock. I mean, am I wrong, Michael?
No, that line right there is 100%. We are either going to be actively involved in a conflict, or we have been told to be ready to go at moment's notice. So for me, like, that's one of those, like, something's going to happen, something's going to pop off before that ball was going to happen, which tells me that Israel's going to do their full invasion before that time. So they have to be ready to send units when something doesn't go how it's supposed to, and we've got to plus up massively in the Middle East.
So it says, I write to inform you of a decision that I had to make regarding that's another one that I had to make. So that's Marine Corps talk that I'm following a direct order. I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to cancel this. The Marine Corps didn't want to cancel this, but we're going to because we received a direct order to do so. That's what I read into it. Language is really important. And this is what I loved about working at Intel. So you can analyze stuff like this and go, why are certain words being used? And trust me, when the Commandant or the Major General of the United States Marine Corps is right, it's a very purposeful letter. And when a 2-star writes in the Marine Corps, you listen. You shut up, you listen. Due to unforeseen operational commitments and the nature of our current mission, we're going to war. It is with great regret that we must cancel this year's event. You notice I didn't say reschedule. Cancel.
And all of them are canceled all over.
Yeah, all over. All Marine Corps balls are shut down. Our primary responsibility as Marines is to ensure the security and defense of our nation. It is this commitment to duty that has necessitated the cancellation of what would undoubtedly have been an exceptional evening of camaraderie and tradition. She's talking about burying
and this
the
is
lead.
the problem. Like, just hearing you read this letter, the Marine in me is so excited right now, because that means all these guys, everything that they've been training for, like, we're going to go lock and load, and we're going to go down range and actually do what we're meant to do. So I'm actually getting a little motivated right now, being like, all right, it's time to go get some.
Do you have a
It's
chubby?
time to go out. But it's also one of those, I'm like, I can't do that anymore. So
You have a little chubby going on there, big guy?
it happens.
You sound excited. Marines, there's nothing like the possibility and promise of blowing people away and green crayons to a Marine. It's literally
Yes.
what they live for. So also to say unit, core,
God,
God.
core, country, get it right.
No, hold on. Core, unit, shit. I usually have to write this down. Go ahead, Mike, educate us.
God, core, country. Come on, it's not that hard. You've
God,
seen the movies.
I've seen the movies, and it's not true. Marines don't go around and do that. They also don't go around and go, this is my rifle, this is my gun, this is fighting, this is for fun. I'll tell you, as
This is
a
for
Marine,
pride. This is for fun. It does happen. We just
Yeah,
don't talk
it does.
about those days.
Just
Those
don't
are
talk
our Navy
about
days
those
coming
days.
out in us.
Yeah, but people make it seem like that's what you're doing at, command and everything. Come on. It's Marines have more than just me kill. I know
A little bit of brains. Not always, just a little
There's
bit.
some. There's some. They're good guys. All right. So the rest of it. I appreciate the immense effort that has gone into the planning and preparation for this year's ball. And I want to express my gratitude to all those who have dedicated their time and effort. While we must forego this opportunity this year, it is a reminder of the sacrifice we make in service to our country. Please know that the decision was not made lightly, and the chief consideration was the need to uphold the highest standards of readiness and the completion of our operational responsibilities. Thank you for understanding. Semper Fi. McPhillips, Major General, the United States Marine Corps, U.S. Corps Forces Central Command. The last line tells it all. It's a readiness level. They're calling everybody back. That means Christmas is canceled. Nobody's going on Christmas leave. You're not going on Thanksgiving leave. You're not going on New Year's leave. And for the next 90 to 120 days, Marine Corps, everything's canceled. Navy's canceled. Air Force is canceled. Well, maybe not the Air Force. They couldn't stand doing that. Yeah, but the Army. But all this is just the Marine Corps. Everybody's on readiness level high alert, and leave will most certainly be canceled. And the reason why is that if stuff fires off, you want everybody in one location. You don't want military traveling during holidays. You don't, because a lot of these guys are going to have to take private flights to get home, not military-based flights. So it's logistically a freaking nightmare. So at this readiness level, you bring everybody together and you have a tight-knit group. And that way, if the bell goes off, everybody can deploy from one area, and strategic commands can have that done within 8 to 12 hours. Within 8 to 12 hours, they can have everyone masked up, have everything they need, have uniforms, have ammunition, have all the supplies that they need, ready to go, ready to get on aircraft to get overseas. Anything you want to change about that? Maybe it's 24 to 72 hours now. I don't know what the readiness level was. I know during the 90s, it was an 8 to 12 hour commitment. You could have entire battalions spun up and ready to go, but I don't know what it is now. Mike, do you?
No, like those time frames seem right, and I'm sure they have 1 or 2 battalions already identified that I'm sure all their stuff is already packed. It's laying out. They've got guards on it right now, just waiting for they get the order to go. The semis roll up, they throw everything in and get on the planes. So I'm sure they're going to go through a rotation, but I'm sure it's a few battalions have already identified to be like, you're the first to go, and then everyone else is just going to follow suit.
I want to make one more point here real quick before we move on. When I say it's canceled, that's for essential forward combat personnel and high priority support MOSs and rates. So, for example, in the Marine Corps, everybody's infantry, but yeomen are not necessarily going to be a requirement in a readiness level to be canceling leave. There's a lot of people who will still have leave, but if you're on a ship, you're not going anywhere. I'm just letting you know. If you're on a command unit and a command vessel forward operating, you're not going anywhere. Some people might be like, "Oh, leave's not canceled." Then you're not on a vessel. You're not on a FOB. You're not in a situation where you're deployed, or you're not a deployable unit. Because I'll tell you, if they're canceling the Marine Corps ball, the National Guard is going to be on standby. Some units, some reserve units, a lot of naval units, because whether they're a part of a fleet, you don't run a 33% fleet during wartime. and you can't run a skeleton crew on these vessels. You have to be at full staff in order to just reloading fighter squadrons who are going to be doing 300 to 400 sorties a day. Just refueling and landing those alone takes a crew of 300 guys. I mean, it's incredible the amount of logistics for Navy. Air Force, maybe not. But if you think that the bases in Japan, in Yokohama or Yokosuka, are not going to be staffed, of course they will be. If you think Bahrain and other bases won't be staffed, if you think that they're not going to be in Qatar, if you think they're not going to be in Germany, they will be. So it's essential personnel, intelligence, communications, any logistical support will more than likely be canceled. Anyway, so I've seen this a lot. Mike, I don't know how often in the last 20 years you've seen it, but 1990, this happened every holiday. But what about you? Is it something you saw a lot of?
No, we never saw it because we had our rotation of everyone who's going to Iraq or Afghanistan. And if you weren't that next battalion going up, like we still got leave before we left. So something like this to where they're canceling it because of something that's going on. And on this scale, I have not seen in my time in.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, this happened every holiday, but the Middle East was much different than it was after the first Gulf War. I mean, Saddam Hussein was still in power. He was still gassing, killing people. He was still sending off Scuds in Israel and into other Arab nations. So this was common. Then it's very reminiscent of what's happening now. So we all don't need to shit our pants and cry right now. We just need to understand is that this is another step in escalated tensions that put American boots on the ground. Okay. People need to understand something else, and I'll bring everybody back on the main window real quick, is the United States has not gone to Senate to declare war since World War II. We're not going to go ahead and do that again. We're not going to go to the Senate and declare war. It creates a commitment that we don't want. When you declare war in a country, you don't have really a process of exfilling effectively. So you do these conflicts, and it allows budget. It allows multiple different presidencies. It's just to transfer during these conflicts, where a war is very complicated because to keep the coalition of forces together requires a leader that kind of started it. And this is what they found with FDR, is they felt the Churchill relationship would fall apart. They thought a lot of the communications with France and resistances would fall apart without FDR. You don't want to do that during wartime. But if you think that all of these vessels and units going over there in that area are not being put there, I want to say this very carefully. Mike's going to shore me up, to create an opportune moment where asking the Senate for permission would no longer be necessary. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening. They're putting our units in harm's way. Yes, for flexing arms of freedom, democracy, and the Great Republic, but predominantly also that if any of these countries get froggy and try to splash one of our planes or try to go ahead and launch a rocket at one of our vessels and it hits, that we then have geopolitical permission to go in indefinitely, at least for 90 to 120 days, and rain fire without asking the Senate anything and without getting world permission. Mike, did you want to alter that?
No, that's 100% exactly what would happen. My only thing for this is, because we haven't declared war, they also will not allow us to fight like we did in World War II, actually roll in and get things done. Every time we go in now, the U.S., NATO forces, whoever's going in, has always been handcuffed. There's always rules of engagement that do not allow you to actually win. So we're posturing. If something happens that they want to decide to go in, they have the opportune targets out there ready to go. It's just, will the Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah, will one of them be stupid enough to actually do it, and then our administration actually decide, yeah, we're going, let's do this.
Yeah. When you first came on, your thoughts of probability of going seemed to be negligible or small. Now, how are you feeling?
Obviously, it's a little bit higher.
A little bit.
Just a little bit higher.
Like, yeah, that's pretty, yeah. No, like, the only thing that would make this worse is if they just put a third aircraft carrier in the region. Oh, wait, they did.
They did.
The only thing that would make this worse if they put 5,000 Marines aboard. Oh, wait, they did. Now, I'll tell you this right now, and just hear me when I say this. If flight ops start taking place, you better grab your asshole and realize that we're going to war. If they start doing flight ops off these decks of these carriers and they start running sorties.
What's a sortie?
A sortie is a plane leaving on a mission and taking off, going out, performing its mission, and coming back. That's all of that are sorties. So say you send out an F-18 on a bombing run. Maybe you go ahead and send up a smaller plane, whether it be an E-2C or whatever. You can even take Reapers off the top of carriers to do reconnaissance. All of that's sortie. Most aircraft carriers, flight op decks can do 300 to 400 sorties a day. In Iraq, that's what they were doing. 300 to 400 sortie missions a day. To understand the level of destruction, you're talking 80 to 100 planes taking off on that deck all damn day. Nobody gets sleep. And the intel billet is always right underneath the cable. It's the best. It's the biggest, but it's the freaking loudest during flight ops. Just like, God, flight ops. Son of a bitch. I'm not going to sleep for 72 hours. So they start running
You're not
flight
angry
ops.
about that at all, are you?
Dude, it sucked. But, some of us came back better than others, and I can't complain. But I'm just saying, dude, if they do flight ops, we're in trouble. Okay? So everyone should feel really, really good. This is not World War III. We have been here before. We have done this many times. Everyone knows the drill. But the biggest concern that I have is the FBI, even though I said this 3.5 weeks ago, that there was a concern with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and other anti-terrorist units that there could be a possible attack in U.S. soil. And I got flagged by Facebook. You remember now, Ray, is like, it's a probability. Like, it's not definite, but there is a very high probability of an attack on U.S. soil. And I'm sitting here going, it's funny because you guys didn't say that shit when your agents were texting me and telling me that there were internal memos going around inside the FBI that there was a high probability of attack. It's interesting that you denied it and put out a cover story through the media and didn't warn people. And it makes you once again question the FBI and their motives and what the hell they're thinking.
I do not have a very high opinion of the FBI, having worked with them many, many times. That yes, they care more about the Washington Post check on things rather than, and I want to say doing the right thing. It's getting the information out when it's needed in order to inform the public when it's necessary. They would rather hold back and be like, no, let's not do this because we don't want to be wrong. It's like, well, I'd rather people know and be extra cautious than something happening and you not say anything. And guess what? It comes out again that you knew about it and did nothing.
It's a really good point. Olivia had a question. I just want to address a couple of people are saying quite a few things in chat. Is don't we look weak? No. Right now we don't look weak.
Right now we don't.
No, we do not look weak. If we get now, a lot of people are like, well, our bases are being attacked. No, they're not. The airspace above our bases or land near our bases is being, pardon my French, fucked with in order to antagonize a response. Iran would love nothing more than mortar fire to go into Iranian-backed units. So they could go ahead and put it all over Al Jazeera and all over Iranian state-controlled media and say the Americans have killed Iranians and show pictures of their bodies. That's what they want. They're fucking with us. They never cross that line. When they would send up skiffs and they would send up river boats and go 175 yards away. Well, that's not that close because they would have been blown out of the water. 500 yards away from some of our vessels, and would take it to the line. We put a 50 cal right across their bow, just a line right across their bow, and then they were gone. But understand, they're launching these attacks. They're not even attacks. They're launching these warnings and putting rounds over our bow, saying, you guys keep this up and we're going to go ahead and possibly hit targets. I'm not really
add for a lot of these attacks that are happening, between the early warning systems and the intelligence that they have both in Iraq and Syria when these are going on, they know that a lot of these attacks are going to happen. Or if they don't know about them, as soon as these aircraft or mortars get in the air, they get notified and are able to get to bunkers. Now, obviously, they don't always have the warning, so there is sometimes that they will get, there will be casualties. Now, I am also on the flip side of this. There's been enough attacks that the one retaliation they did on the IRGC ammo depot that was
Syria,
likely empty, that is basically one step above doing nothing. And I can say that there is shelves of plans of locations that they could hit that they know that there's people at, they just don't want to do it. So if they ever got to whatever their threshold is right now for actually retaliating, they literally just have to say, let's do option 3, and they could execute right now. So it's just they haven't hit whatever the Biden administration's threshold is to actually retaliate.
Right. Retaliatory strikes are different than preemptive. This would be a preemptive strike. They have not hit anything of ours, so to speak, or taken any lives. It doesn't mean that it's not serious, and we don't want people firing off, but you have to understand the step he's talking about is literally lighting the Iranian oil fields on fire. That is the proportionate response if they strike and take American lives, because it's not going to be us. It's going to be Israel that does it. Listen, Israel very much cares about Jews. They very much, a lot of people will say that's not true because they didn't get into the Iraq war. They didn't get into the Iraq war for a couple of reasons. Because the moment they did, the moment the United States left, every single country would be going after Israel. So that was a geopolitical move and honestly a smart move. But Jews don't like Americans being killed. They're not big fans of that. And if you kill Americans and you're Iran, you will see a response from Israel where they won't listen. They will fucking hit Iran. They will hit Syria. They will hit Egypt. They'll hit Qatar. They'll hit Jordan. They'll hit Yemen and Oman. If you do that, has anyone seen Israel? Remember, I'm the one that told you when this happened, I said, Israel's going to kill indiscriminately and anybody gets in the way is going to die. And people are like, that's so anti-Semitic. That's not Israel. You obviously have no idea what you're talking about, because Israel is one of the most reciprocity-based countries in the world because they have to be. And they have no problem taking out anyone who screws with them. And that's the way they have to be. Liv, you had a question, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I have 2. One, which country would we be going to war with? And 2, any ideas on if there is a terrorist attack on U.S. soil, what it would be and where?
Which one you want to hit? You want to hit both?
All right, so let's go with the terrorist attack first. So
lean into your mic just a bit.
Oh, there we go. All right, so that for the terrorist attack, I think that one is going to be the hardest to predict. But literally it can be anywhere, because this is likely going to be a lone wolf or someone that is inspired by what's happening. And it could literally be anywhere. Obviously, they just had that college student at Cornell. So like literally it could be anyone, anywhere. So it's one of those, like, there's not going to be until like, oh, hey, this is going to happen. It's going to be some bozo out there being like, you know what? I like what Hamas is putting out. I agree with what they're doing. I do not like what the U.S. is doing and supporting Israel. And they can go out and grab a truck, grab a knife, grab a weapon, and do some type of attack. So that is going to be extremely hard to predict, unless, like the Cornell student, they start going online and saying, hey, I'm going to do all this, and people actually report them, and the FBI actually does something about it.
Correct.
So it won't
Matt, I
be
don't know if
another
you have anything
9/11?
else on that. Oh no.
Yeah, I do. I mean, once again, Mike's right, because this would be speculative, and in our line of work, we don't do speculation, right? You got to have facts. Now, there's soft targets all over the United States. Infrastructure is the first one, right? But more than likely, Iran has learned a few things based upon what the United States and predominantly what Israel has done to Iran. So I don't want to get into a full nest, but Israel shut down all the gas pumps in Iran from computer hacking. Shut down every gas pump. Said no gas. Entire country shut down, locked down, hacked all their fuel pumps. There's also been overload hacks done to destroy certain refineries or certain plants through going in through hacking means, not allowing valve pressure to go ahead and regulate by shutting it off and blowing it up through hacks. They've learned from the United States how to do cyber warfare. The interesting thing is now the Iranians have advanced a lot. They've gotten extremely prolific at cyber warfare with less developed countries and learned how to practice. In fact, if you go back and look at the Podesta emails, and there were about 4 countries that they were absolutely certain got a piece of that. Now, they called that the doorknob server. Everybody got a turn. But Iran was like in the first 4 to breach that under reports that I've heard and gotten. So Iran has been working on its electronic warfare capabilities for the last 15, 20 years, but the last 10, they have advanced. Now, Russian technology, they're very good at cyber warfare too. And one of the trades that they've gotten for the support that Iran has provided as far as arms, mercenary groups, contracting groups to Russia is rocket technology, as we know, because their rocket program literally it was the Kitty Hawk to the SR-71 in a matter of like 3 years. And the second thing is obviously cyber warfare technology. So you have to be worried about cyber warfare attacks. The United States is pretty good at that type of stuff. And although they can breach certain systems, they haven't broken our gas mains. They haven't hit our fresh water supplies. They haven't hit A, B, C, D, and E, and F, and nuclear plants, etc. Is it possible? Yeah, but the United States is pretty damn good at electronic warfare themselves and have systems in place that are constantly working. We hire criminals and crooks to run a lot of these things, and the NSA recruits not just colleges but recruit felons too. So just relax on that. I don't think that's going to be a major thing, but it can happen. It has happened in the past. You got to worry about the biggest concern is you've got China and Russia in bed together. We know China put the Wuhan, toxicity level virus that went around, and are pretty confident where it came from. That's what I'm worried. I'm worried about microbiology. I'm worried about something that can be in a small vial the size of a thumbnail and exposing certain countries to this or certain airports. That makes me nervous. And then obviously getting a dirty bomb is another thing that makes me extremely nervous. So it doesn't mean that any of those things are going to happen. What we're more than likely going to see is probably someone clack off a vest in a bus, do very much like the Florida nightclub shooting. And you're going to see these type of things and these smaller based attacks that are going to be from people who are indoctrinated and radicalized, who are American based, or have come over here on visas, or who've come over here from the southern border. So people are asking if we have Hamas groups in the United States. Yeah, absolutely. We have Hamas groups inside the United States. You can actually go see it right now.
Anwar al-Awlaki in Falls Church. So it's one of those, like, we've had terrorists that it went on and been one of the leaders of AQAP in this country. I guarantee you we've got more.
Yeah, it's you can see it right now. Another thing is a dirty bomb. People are asking what a dirty bomb is. Dirty bomb is a nuclear device that doesn't reach cataclysmic proportion, but has enough radioactive material inside of it to take out a city block or two with high propensity radioactive material and an incendiary or explosive device. It's a dirty bomb. It's a dirty nuke. It's a suitcase nuke. And it's certainly not a 30 megaton warhead. It's not going to take out 30 square miles, but it's going to take out maybe a city block or two, and that's dangerous. And if you let that off in New York or Baltimore or hello, you're going to have mass casualties. So that's what we have to worry about. And we're not going to get invaded. And everyone's like, well, we need our troops at home to protect our borders. That's what we are. That's why we have the Second Amendment. Okay, we got 327 million of us. Damn Skippy. No invading country is going to be able to get an inch. You just logistically, there's only one way to take out the United States: from within, or a well-placed nuke that creates retaliation. That's or economically. Those are the three real ways you're going to take down the United States. Otherwise, it's a wet dream. Okay, all right. Was there anything? Did we miss anything?
What country would we be going to war?
I want to hear Mike's prediction, and then I'll give mine, and then we can move on so we all can chat.
So this is one of those of the country that we would be going to war with should technically be Iran. What I think the scale of what we would actually do is not going to be a country. It's going to be more of, they're going to keep it specific to Hamas, Hezbollah, maybe the Houthis down in Yemen, depending on how widespread they wanted to go, rather than actually going after a nation state, because then that will, using their favorite term, escalation, bring it to a level that they're not prepared to go to. So I believe it's going to be if we get in, it's going to be specific to a group rather than a country, but ultimately it's going to be the proxies of Iran.
Got it.
And listen, this is why Iran sacrificed one of their weakest proxies, Hamas. It's their weakest. It's not on par with IRGC. It's not on par with Hezbollah. It's not on par with the Houthis. And even though the Houthis are segmented and don't have strategic command and control and communication like Hezbollah does, this is not the Islamic Brotherhood. It's not the Islamic jihadists. Hamas is Iran's lowest on the totem pole terrorist organization. So by sacrificing them, it really doesn't hurt Iran. That's why the United States doesn't need to get involved in hitting Hezbollah or Hamas. That's what the United States is for, or Israel is for, excuse me. A lot of people are saying Yemen. Logistically, Yemen opens up a whole nother. Then you got Pakistan and India involved. You're in the southern area of the Gulf. You don't want to get involved with Oman and Yemen, because you're just going to get. You got Africa. It's going to possibly get involved. You got India and Pakistan, which will start getting froggy. They don't want that shit. They don't want the southern Gulf area hit. It's going to be. If it's anybody, it's going to be Lebanon, because that's the biggest threat to. And Syria. Syria will be strategic strikes. We've destroyed their integrated air defense system. We could fucking fly a glider in there, right? We could parachute in and just be, we've destroyed Syria's integrated air defense system. They're not a threat, so we'll just bomb them. But there's no reason to put troops on the ground. Lebanon is a completely different situation. I don't think we do troops on the ground, but you're going to do Reaper drones. You're going to go in and you're going to have high altitude bombing. You're going to take out their command and control. There's 3 specific C4 locations in Lebanon that would be taken out. You're going to have ammo supply depots. You're going to have a lot of their oil that they do provide a little bit of oil. And mainly you're going to close down their shipping ports and starve them to death. So you do that and they're in a world of hurt. So you don't have to do anything. You just park a carrier off there and you can run ops for 6 months without putting a boot on the ground. And Lebanon is the most... strategically intelligent choice, because it hurts Iran big time. Running proxy on that, killing Hezbollah, Iran wouldn't like that, because that's one of their largest terrorist organizations. And with ISIS and Al-Qaeda and other groups on the run, and the caliphate being fallen, even though there's still their strength and there's pockets of terrorist groups that are still to worry about, Hezbollah in the area is the number one that you'd worry about.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
We had a question from somebody.
Yeah.
So Terry on YouTube says, my only son is deceased. His only son, my family's only boy to carry on our last name. Would they draft him if that was made known?
No. And listen, a draft, Mike, I'm sorry, I didn't defer. I'll just quickly.
No, you're good.
A draft is a very unpopular thing. this isn't the first time our military force numbers have been down. Clinton created false attrition with us, and we didn't do a draft. We had a couple of major conflicts going on during that time, or preemptively conflicts going into that time. We didn't draft during Afghanistan. The only way we would start a draft is if we declared war. That's it.
Unless we go in against a nation state, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's not. That's a terrorist. Terrorist. See, there's no head to cut off, and you're not going to fight terrorists with troops. We learned that shit by watching the Russians do it by their own Vietnam, and we learned it in Afghanistan too. And unfortunately, we did have to engage. We fought 21 years to remove Taliban, only to put Taliban back into power. So it's kind of you don't put boots on the ground. You're just going to use drones. You're going to use human intelligence. You're going to use electronic intelligence to find these guys. And we've got bunker busters. Listen, Israelis may not have those bunker busters that can go down to a certain degree. That's a lot more than what they're saying, that 300 feet. The United States has the ability to flatten underground tunnels and network systems with ease. The bunker busters that we have are 10 to 50 times more powerful than what Israel is using. You don't want to go to war with the United States. You go to war with the United States, we're going to fuck you up. I don't care who you are. You're going to get fucked up. Bad. I don't care how weak our military is from a readiness level right now in a lot of places. Even at a running 90%, the United States could still take on every naval unit in the world and still win. The entire world could go up against the United States and we would still win. Mike, anything else?
Nope. I think we both said it. It's like, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen at all. Yeah, unless we get into such a dire situation that it happens, then like we're so far gone anyway that it's not going to matter at that point. But yeah, it's highly, highly unlikely anything's going to happen.
You may not see it, but like I said, if it's a nation state, you may see it. I mean, our numbers are abysmally low. I mean, the Marine Corps the Marine Corps is the only unit that hit its numbers, and they didn't hit it by much. Navy missed it, Air Force missed it, Army missed it. Marine Corps is on the precipice of missing it. And that's like the Detroit Red Wings not making the playoffs. Like, that's like, what? What just happened? So Marine Corps has always, they have less numbers than most, but it's always been it. They also do more first in, last out type mentality, which is scary for people, but people love the Marine Corps, but they're having problems. All right, let's shift gears, because I know Olivia's been so sweet, so awesome for sitting here and listening to this. So thank you, Livy.
You're welcome
for doing that. Let's get into where's the video? Where did it go? Damn it! Don't you just love this? Okay, nope, that ain't it. I messed everything up today. I had to go back in, and we got to be on in the morning. This is gonna suck.
It's gonna be an early morning for us.
Yeah, it's gonna be super early for me, because I'm gonna have to figure out how to get in here and get this window open. I'm just gonna have to do this one and add Mike. Sorry, everybody. Let me just get Mike in here. Okay, we're just going to close that. And we'll make all these windows right here. Bam. Yeah, I apologize. This will just take a second. And one more. We got 3 Olivias. Can't beat that with a stick. Okay. All right, then we'll just drag and drop everybody in. And I go there. Livy goes there. Mike goes there. All right, now we're ready. Thanks, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Happens. Kamala Harris, Olivia's favorite person. She's looking a little peaked. Mm-hmm. She's looking rough, right? I remember when she first started.
She looks like she's gained some weight.
A little bit of weight. Looks a little bit like Biden. And she looks tired. But let's listen to her speech. Now, we all understand. We'll talk a little bit about this when it comes to Victoria. People say Mike is pretty easy on the eyes. Just thought I'd let you know.
Hey, I try. I do what I can.
I guess I'm chopped liver now.
We only go so far.
Yeah, I guess I'm chopped liver now. She's got shoulder pads on, which is the Hillary Clinton pantsuit. But she decided that it was important to talk about hate crimes in the United States. This pissed me off beyond reproach, and I'm gonna give you guys a couple little bits of information when it comes to hate crimes in the United States. It happened to be something I know quite a bit about, and I know I do that a lot, but just did a couple of videos on this. But let's listen to what she has to say. If anybody wants me to stop, let me know. Oh, I'm gonna change the video. Hold on, audio, and all right. Let's see if we can hear this.
That all people should have the freedom to live, to worship, and to be.
Can everyone hear that?
It's very quiet.
Yeah. These videos have been so quiet lately.
Without fear of violence
That's better.
or persecution. Every person has the right to live safe from violence, hate, and bigotry. And for those reasons and so many more, President Joe Biden and I have a duty, not only to keep the people of our nation safe, but to condemn unequivocally and forcefully all forms of hate.
Is that better?
Yes.
Since we took office, President Biden and I have fought to uphold that duty. Over the past decade, America has seen a rise in attacks on...
Here's what I want to know. I want to know why the Vice President of the United States is addressing us.
Because it's not important enough for the president to do it.
Yeah, is he incapacitated? Is there something I need to know? Why is the Vice President addressing the nation? It's just an interesting thing.
Houses of worship. So in response, we expanded funding to protect houses of worship from violence. After a surge in hate during the pandemic, in particular anti-Asian hate, President Biden signed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to improve the reporting of hate crimes and to ensure hate crimes are investigated quickly and thoroughly.
How many times she said hate crimes?
Earlier this year, in response to an historic rise in anti-Semitic attacks, we also released the first national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. And to make clear, taking on hate is a national priority. President Biden and I held the first White House summit to address hate-fueled violence, and we brought together religious leaders, community leaders, and survivors to continue our work to keep all Americans safe. And today, we take another important step forward in our fight against hate. For years, Muslims in America and those perceived to be Muslim have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks. As a result of the Hamas terrorist attack in Israel and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, we have seen an uptick in anti-Palestinian, anti-Arab, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic incidents across America, including the brutal attack of a Palestinian-American woman who was Muslim and the killing of her 6-year-old son. A senseless act of violence that the Department of Justice is investigating as a hate crime. For so many people in our nation, the past few days and weeks have brought about all too familiar fears. Fears that they will be targeted, profiled, or attacked simply because of who they are, how they worship, or how they look. And so today, I am proud to announce the Biden-Harris administration will develop our nation's first national strategy to counter Islamophobia. This strategy will be a comprehensive and detailed plan to protect Muslims and those perceived to be Muslim from hate, bigotry, and violence, and to address the concern that some government policies may discriminate against Muslims. For example, the so-called Muslim ban, which President Biden revoked on our first day in office. So here's the bottom line. In America, no one should be made to fight hate alone. And in this moment, then, let us all clearly say, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
But not if you're a MAGA extremist, white nationalist, dick face. All right, who wants some?
I'll go.
Go.
So I think somebody wrote her speech and actually gave her some coaching.
Adderall.
She was very just kind of flat. Somebody told her, do not go off script and don't do what you normally do during interviews and cackle and all that.
Yeah, she
crap.
didn't laugh once. I was shocked.
No, she was very stone faced. Now, if she can do that, why couldn't Joe Biden do that?
Right.
Why couldn't he address us if it was just going off of the speech and seeing the teleprompter? Why couldn't he have done that? Because that seems like it should have been a president's job, not a vice president.
Right.
Which is a little concerning considering what's going on right now. We really should have a president who is, who we can see is visible and is out there and actually, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the words and I can't think of them.
Well, hold on. Kamala Harris has a statement for us. Let's see what she has to say.
Okay.
Do not
I
come.
love Venn diagrams.
No, you definitely won't be able to hear it if you're talking. I just want to let you know it's really hard to hear. So, got it? Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come.
Sorry, sweets. It's a really quiet one. You got to do it right. So here's the deal. You're absolutely right. 120%. You got to have leadership, but the truth about this whole thing is it's a complete fallacy. 9% of hate crimes based on theology and theologian principles and beliefs from those who are Muslim or perceived to be Muslim. I don't know what the fuck that means. Is that kind of like a Mexican thing? If you're from Honduras, if you're from Cuba, if you're from, you're all Mexicans.
Probably.
It makes sense. I'm from Portugal. Yeah, Mexico.
Yeah, if you look like that, then if you look like you're from the Middle East, then automatically people think you're Muslim.
Okay, so 9% of hate crimes are committed against Muslims. 61% are Jews. So please explain to me what the hell? 6% are Christian. So where's the Christian initiative to protect Christian hate crimes? How about this? How about all crimes are hate crimes? When it comes to basing it off someone's race, color, creed, disposition, sexual orientation, they're all hate crimes. Why does it have to be Black Lives Matter? Why can't it just be All Lives Matter? Because at this time, black people, blah, blah, blah. At this time, it only cares about the individual. Why do we always care about the collective rights? Why can't we focus on individual? Because to that individual, it's the time. It's their time. And it doesn't matter if they're black, white, brown, or indifferent. To that person who's getting the living shit kicked out of them because of their beliefs or color of their skin, they don't care if it's black people who are having problems in Los Angeles or all over the United States. They only care about their individual event. Trust me, that goes for black people. That goes for Hondurans. It goes for Russians. It goes for North Koreans, whatever. If you're here and you're being attacked, it doesn't matter what everyone else is going through. It only cares about what you're going as an individual. So when we try to say hate crime, let's make a focus. Well, if you're going to take resources away from the other hate crimes, won't they just go up? Because isn't that what we saw in the Gulf War? Isn't that what we saw after 9/11 is when we focused on Islamophobia, that they went after the LGBTQ community, they went after Jews, they went after Asians during COVID. So when we take our focus off one, what are we pulling away from outside of that? Mike, I want to get your thoughts.
Well, this is one of those fraud, waste, and abuse for the government. I guarantee you, I want to know how many billions of dollars they're going to throw at this and not actually have a plan. I always get nervous when the borders are and how amazing she's doing at securing that. And now has another task of something that's completely made up of, hey, how do we stop this? And it's like, well, you're always going to have people out there that are going to hate. You're not going to change that. I don't see them going into the colleges and be like, hey, why don't we look at the curriculum, see what these professors are actually teaching our kids and why we're having such problems on all these campuses. So to me, this is just another waste of our taxpayer dollars on this is what's going to get them the media attention that they want right now in order to attempt to flip the election next year. Like, hey, look at all the stuff that we did. This is why you should reelect us. Like, that's all I think this is. So it's another game. It's another ploy. It's another way to spend another probably $10 to $15 billion that they're just going to throw away.
Could I just make a call out to my Jewish listeners, please. For the Jews who are listening, this one's for you. If you vote Democrat and you're a Jewish American, you're a fucking idiot. Now, I understand that like 89% of Jews vote Democrat. I get it. What in the flying shit are you thinking? Now, I can say this because the Groypers said that I'm a Jew because my great-grandmother is a Jew. So, hey, I'm a part of the tribe. I guess it's by association. I have a black friend, therefore I can't be racist. I have a gay friend. I can't be homophobic. I have a Jew friend. I had a Jew grandma. I'm a Jew too. It's not anti-Semitic to say why are you voting outside of your best interests? You have a group of people inside the Democrat Party who are not blatantly anti-Semitic, but they won't come out and condemn Palestine. They won't come out and challenge the claim that Palestine makes that it is not Israel's land. They have, as always, been diametrically opposed to what Republicans think. So if we were in favor of Palestine, they would be supporting Jews. That's the way this works because they always take the opposite position. They are not pro-Jew. They're not pro as far as when it comes to the top 51%. They're not pro-business. They're not pro-education. They teach an alternate reality of what actually happened. They downplay the Holocaust. They go ahead and prop up Palestine during a time that nobody was supporting Palestine 24 days ago. There weren't any major politicians standing up for Palestine and saying, oh my God, listen. So what you're doing is you're standing up for them because of what happened with this terrorist incident. Do you understand how far on the wrong side of history you're going to be on this one? Because nobody's going to say that this was a Palestinian movement. You're demonstrating support for Hamas. Because that's you don't have to celebrate Palestine. You could just condemn Hamas and not support the Jews. But because you're not supporting the Jews and specifically condemning Hamas, that in itself could be considered a hate crime. Would it not? So if you're Jewish and you're voting Democrat, we are accepting and we're willing to open up the umbrella to the community. Welcome. It's wonderful to see you. You don't have to go ahead and pay any penance. You don't have to tear your clothing. You don't have to go down to the Shiva. You can just join us and vote Republican, or at least don't vote Democrat. Vote for anyone other than Joe Biden and the crazy Ilhan Omar, Rashid Tlaib's, and AOC's, and all the others that support Palestine and have Palestinian flags outside the front of their offices. Those are the people that you might want to consider are the enemy right now because they don't care about what happens to you. Love to get comments on that. Am I crazy? Should Jewish Americans vote Democrat?
See, this is one of those tough ones to where I'm at a point to where people are so stuck in their ways on whether they're left or right that no matter what's going on, like they're going to stick to those values and they're not going to change. There's a very small part of the population, I hope, that some of the Jewish population is actually understanding of what's happening. Like, hey, maybe this isn't in our best interest. Maybe we need to rethink a few things, which I think some of the, and I forget where the $1 billionaire donor who pulled his funding, and I forget which Ivy League college he did that from, that you are seeing some of that happening, but I just don't know if it's on a scale that's actually going to make a huge difference. I hope it is, but I just haven't truly seen a shift in anything yet.
Well, when we look at it, the Jews didn't necessarily shift for Donald Trump. And that's okay. Jewish Americans didn't necessarily say, Donald Trump's our guy. But they were predominantly with Reagan, which is an interesting thing. They were predominantly with Clinton, and they were definitely got behind Bush. but that's a small percentage. This is cataclysmic in the Jewish vote. And every single Jew is watching what the American government is doing and what the constituents are saying. And I'm telling you, that right there, to have anti-Islamophobia, which we all agree, it's stupid. I speak up for Muslims all the time. But it sends a clear message to the Jews in Florida that we can't win your vote right now. We know we're not going to win Florida, so we're not going to pander to your vote. Wow. Holy shit. Does that send a message to the rest of the Democrats who are Jewish across the United States? Florida, we don't care about you. We've abandoned Florida. It's now Ron DeSantis territory. And with that will come generational change with the vote, because if you think the younger Jewish population isn't going to see this and isn't going to listen to their parents and their grandparents tell the stories of 1940 and how the government abandoned them and put them into camps and fucking tried to kill every one of them, you got another thing coming. I think it's a horrible move but I think it's a huge, I think RNC should be putting out commercials every single day about seeing Netanyahu shake Lindsey Graham's hand as far as the stooge that he is. Every type of communication, every bill that they didn't vote on, they should be pointing out how Democrats don't support Israel. I think it's a big, huge blunder, and we'll see what the RNC does with it. Anybody else? All right, let's get one that Olivia can get to, because I know she loves stuff like this. I do want to get to Hillary Clinton because it's been on the docket for quite a few nights, but this one has to be seen. This one is insane. This is a fairly expensive house. I don't know where it's at, but it does look like a California-style home. And this was a trick-or-treat incident that went wrong.
Old Candygate?
Yeah, Candygate. That's exactly what it is. Watch this. Now, Liv, can you tell people about our Halloween and how many people we have here?
We got 4 trick-or-treaters.
How many did you get, Mikey?
0. I have no kids around me.
Yeah, I can't stand Lindsey Graham either, but it doesn't matter. Use him for what he's worth. These people put out a cauldron of candy. And just watch.
It's the fact that the adults were encouraging it and telling the kids to do it. And that's just so wrong in so many ways. It's
kind of like,
rude.
I thought Biden was giving out free health care again to illegals. That's what it looked like to me. Listen, I'm what? Holy shit. Do you know how many things are wrong with that video? Mike, do you want to chime in? Olivia, do you have more than that? I mean, let's get into it.
Well, for me, it's one of those, like, okay, you have these adults who clearly don't care about any of their neighbors or have any respect for anyone else that's going there. I mean, that's a well-known thing. You go, you take your one piece, and you move on. Like, that's how it is. If you're going to be that greedy and that selfish, they're like, oh, I'm going to go and clean this person out and not care about anybody else. Like, you're what is wrong right now with America of getting back, helping your neighbors, being that neighbor that you actually want to live next to and learn about and actually have a good community. But you want to come in and screw with this family like, oh, we're just going to take all this because I deserve all this. Like, no, one, it's for the kids. Like, let's be real. Like, you don't need to be going as the parents and actually getting all this. This is a night to allow the kids to go out, have a little bit of fun, do the trick-or-treating, and yes, get some nice candy out of it. But you can hit a whole bunch. Like, if there's that much at that one house, I guarantee you there's a bunch more houses you can hit and get the same amount. So, like, all of this is one of those, like, this is where I wish those guys could do a prank And if you take a whole, all of the candy, you can have confetti or something coming down being like, you need to mark these people if this is what they're doing. So that way everyone knows. And I'm glad there's a video of it so they can put this out here. Basically like, this is what this family did. And it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Liv, I mean, you're a mom. What would you think if you went to, whoa, hold on. If you went to Walgreens and picked up our $3.99 or $10.99 or whatever it is bag of candy, what do you think?
Well, I'd be pissed if some kids did that. I mean, okay, teenagers, they're just being a pain in the ass. Still not right. Still didn't get parented right. Okay. But to have somebody that is older than me telling the kids to do it, it's wrong and it's rude and what's wrong with the world right now, to be able to be teaching their children to do that. And essentially, I understand trick-or-treating is free candy, but they're stealing. Trick-or-treating is one candy. I mean, yesterday, I didn't go trick-or-treating with the kids, but both kids, I looked at them and I said, you say thank you, you say please, and you be polite. And they were good. They took their one candy bars from whoever gave them out, and that was that. But I don't have a lot of respect for people like that.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
It's like, okay, first off, I don't mean to be the asshole in the group, but can you fucking speak English when you come to our country? We're the most ignorant country on the planet. We speak one language, most of us. We understand it. But when I was in Japan, I did my damnedest to learn Japanese. And I happen to be in three of the most difficult places to learn a language. Japanese ain't easy. And either is Russian. And either is Korean. And then, God, learning any Arabic was like, you might as well just pull my freaking teeth out with a spoon. But you're in the United States of America. And I understand it might take a little time. It might take a year or two, whatever. But if you are here and you can't show the basic respect to learn the culture, to learn the language, then dare I say you don't belong here.
I mean, they left their home countries for America to live a better life and to have a better life. And if you're going to live that better life, you need to get into the society and mold into Americans if that's what you want to be.
Now, the United States does not have an official language. A lot of people don't know that. We don't have an official religion either, but there is no official language in the United States. It's not English. However, it is not only a national language, but in the United States, it is the most predominant language, and you should try to learn it. And the people who come over here and don't do that, dare I say, are not the people who fight for citizenship. These are the people who come over illegally. The second thing I'll say is you don't fucking live in that neighborhood.
No.
I guarantee you don't live in that neighborhood. And why are you in a neighborhood taking from other people? Because here's the reason. It's simple. They have better candy. And so as first class used to be a better trip or a better meal, it's now indicative of a better life, or a bigger house is indicative of a bigger life. So instead of taking all of that as some sort of tribulation or penance for not having the things that other people have, maybe it should inspire you to do your own fucking work, to develop yourself and achieve that success that's available to everybody in this country if they put the effort in. And I just think it's lazy, it's sloven, it's greed, and it should be admonished by everybody. And it lacks manners and respect, right? All you got to do, you don't have the money. They're giving out freaking, lug nuts and freaking, walnuts in other neighborhoods because they don't have anything. Okay, fine. Then come into my neighborhood if you're less fortunate. I want to help those kids. I want to give them a great great Halloween. I don't mind that. But when you come in and you take from me and black me out on my candy, and now I can't take care of the other neighborhood kids, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And one more thing, those bitches don't be needing that candy because they're fat. And
they weren't even dressed in costumes. I didn't even see the kids dressed in costumes.
You need to, no, some kids did. One was dressed as Toy Story. But lady, you don't need to be eating that shit. You should be putting on a salad and maybe a crouton and a glass of water. You don't need that candy. Mike, am I out of bounds? I'm I'm more pissed about this than the hate crimes.
Well, I was going to say that every kid deserves to have fun on Halloween and to go trick-or-treating. And if they live in a neighborhood that it isn't safe to go trick-or-treating, they have every right to go to another neighborhood that's safer where they can feel comfortable going door to door to get the candy. But if you're going to do that and come to a better neighborhood, don't bring the shit in your neighborhood to the other ones.
Yeah.
Keep it in your neighborhood. If that's what you plan on doing, just don't come. Don't come to the other neighborhoods. Don't bring your shit
Do not
to
come.
other places. Yeah, don't come.
Do not come.
I'm going to
In
come.
This reminds me where I grew up. The ritzy neighborhood was Mount Vernon, and I saw a few videos of some of my friends I went to high school with. It is jam packed, but everyone knows they show up. They're respectful. If there's a line for a house, they'll wait. They'll allow that family to go get their candy, get their experience. Some of them actually do some pretty good decorations, so maybe they'll take some pictures. But they're respectful because they know that is the nice neighborhood to go to, and everyone wants to go there. And if you do what this family did and try to wipe everybody out, guess what? You're going to ruin that experience for everybody else. And guess what? Next year, that family's not probably going to put any candy out for anybody, or they're going to have to be there to give it. So if they're not there, no one's getting anything. So no, it's 100% despicable. If this is what you're teaching your kids of how to act, that's not an area that I want to live in. That's not people that I want to associate with.
I wonder how many houses they did this to.
I don't know.
Because a lot of people will take their kids trick-or-treating and they'll leave the bowl of candy out. Or say they go to a party or something. And I mean, how many houses did they do that to?
I don't know, but I have to address this comment because, like, are you serious? Like, okay, here it is. You are out of bounds. They are hungry. Now,
If you're hungry, you're not going for candy.
I hope Rick is kidding. But looking at Rick's picture, no. I don't know. Rick, tell me you're
They
kidding.
need to go to a soup kitchen if they're hungry.
If you're hungry, get a fucking job.
Go to a homeless shelter.
No. Get a fucking job. Okay? This isn't about charity.
If they can afford a costume, they can afford food.
It's not about that. That's ridiculous. You can be poor, but even though if you're poor, you don't have to be an asshole. Okay, I grew up poor. We had no carpet on our floor. My dad worked 3 jobs. My mother had a brain surgery. $750,000 brain surgery. Do you understand how much fucking money that is?
In the 70s.
They had an $11,000 house that my yaya and papu bought for them. We were Greek. I'm sure someone's going to say now I'm Greek and related to Adonis or some shit. Are there any groypers for the Greek side? Whatever. And I'll tell you, we didn't have any money. We had no carpet. The entire house was just at the floor. We had to walk over our door threshold because there were nails sticking up from where the carpet was. My dad, we didn't have any money. We had nothing. That water softener blew, took out our entire house. My dad was a mason. My dad worked at Classic Pools. My dad was a fire captain, broke his back. He worked at pharmacy. He was a golf pro. He became an account executive. This guy did everything in order to make ends meet. That's the one thing I'll give my dad credit for. He worked his ass off. We didn't have money. I had to wear my sister's pink latte gray shirts and the buttons were on the other side. Girls' shirts, man. You know how many times I got my ass kicked coming home from school? We hand me down to everything. I mean, for the love of God, goulash was the greatest meal in the world. And my mom's goulash was hamburger meat, a can of tomato sauce, a half of an onion with some noodles. That is not goulash. That is basically mac beef. And it tasted like ass. And we would eat that all the time because that's all the money we had. And then my parents got lucky. They sold a house in California they bought for $11,000. 25 years later, they sold it for $435,000 in California. And then they invested in some property and we got lucky and then we had money. But what we never did was steal candy. I don't care how fucking hungry you are. Take your fill. Because if you need 170 boxes of candy that is in a giant cauldron and you need to do that, I would challenge you to knock on that door and ask for help. Because I think you would be very surprised that the person who buys that type of candy, those candies right there are $3, $4 a box. Those are Milk Duds. Those are Reese's. Those are big boxes of frickin' Nestle Crunch Bites. That shit ain't cheap. They took a few $100s easily worth of candy. Just because
Especially
you're poor.
if it was in California.
Yeah, just because you're poor doesn't mean you don't have to have self-respect. Plus, candy was up 14% because of Joe Biden. Thanks, Joe. We appreciate it. Anybody else want to talk about this topic? I'm more mad about this than anything we've talked about tonight.
Well, no, I'll just
Mike?
end with, like, it doesn't matter how much money you have or you don't have. You can still be respectful. You can still be kind. You can still have manners. Money doesn't mean you have manners. Anyone can do it. They clearly don't care about anyone else, and they just want to disrespect people. And yeah, like, you can say what you want about it. Like, this is freaking wrong. This is despicable. And I wish those parents had done a hell of a lot better, and they obviously need to be taught a lesson.
And it's not just that. It's laughing while you're doing it. No one's being meek. No one's being humble. Nobody looks at the camera and goes, with their hands together and goes, "We're sorry." They're not fucking hungry. They're not hungry. No. They're gluttons, and they don't care about anyone because it's not their neighborhood and they don't live there. And if you're wearing a $75 Victoria's Secret hoodie and you've got red Nikes on and you got an Apple Watch on and your hair has been dyed professionally and cut, you're not hungry. You're a privileged douchebag. I'm sorry. I can't stand people like this. I got upset. I apologize. I just can't stand it. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you have to be poor when it comes to morals and ethics. I hate that excuse. They're poor. Poor people are some of the most prideful and respectful people I know because they understand how hard it is to make ends meet. And I know plenty of Mexicans who've come over from the border. My dad supported them. We had 18 amigos work at my dad's golf course, and he paid them as best as he could. And we grew up with them. We grew up with their food. We grew up with their kids, and they were respected, and they never stole anything. They could have taken Titleist golf balls out of some of those bags and sold them for $10 a piece. They didn't do it. They would get in the lake and they would go, and those balls would go in there every day. They would go down there and fish for those Titleist balls and bring them back and give them to the club. They could have pocketed them. They could have made hundreds of dollars a day selling golf balls at a driving range. They didn't. They were respectful. They made the money they made, and they had an actual ethics of work and discipline and love for God and country. And now we have people here who don't want to spend any time helping their own country. They don't want to better themselves. So they flee their country and they come here and make our country like shit. I'm sick of it. He doesn't like immigration. No, I love immigration. I hate illegal immigration. Pisses me off. Okay, we done? Good. All right, Hillary effing Clinton, folks. Gosh, we're going out of the fire out of the frying pan into the fire on this one. My favorite human being in the world. Let's see if we can.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Oh Lord.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen, I just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working?
Oh my Lord, that woman. She's insane. All right, Hillary Clinton, the one who thinks that you voted for Trump because I told you so, Olivia. She got into a confrontation at one of her, institutes of global planning of the masters of the universe jerking each other off. And this guy, don't get me wrong, he's obnoxious. Obnoxious as hell. More obnoxious than me. But still, it shows you Hillary believes that she's royalty and everyone is beneath her. Nobody. She's the type of person that goes into a hotel and tells security and tells the manager, don't stare at me. And her bodyguards come in and go, Miss Clinton's coming by. Everyone needs to avert their eyes. That's the type of person she is. She's a complete douchebag. She hates people. She hates America. She believes that every reason that she did not win the election she's ran in have everything to do with everyone else and not her. It's Russia. It's sexism. It's that she's a woman. It's that she's too old. It's that she's not young enough and pretty enough. It's that her hair is too short. No, it's that you abandon American soldiers and an ambassador and were never held accountable. That if Mike and I did what you did as far as compartmentalized information, we would be in Leavenworth for the rest of our fucking lives. We would have been arrested, black bagged, and taken into the darkest hole on the planet if we would have done half of the things she did. Here's her comments, and then I'd love for you guys to comment. Here it is.
Honestly, be struck by the hypocrisy
I'm sorry,
of this.
two more people to hear from.
I'm sorry.
You have a chance. Well, I'm not sorry. You sit down.
I know you're
not
not sorry. That's the point. The hypocrisy of this speech. The hypocrisy of the fact that what do you have? Can you please make a statement about President Joe Biden's speech? This is a clearly warmongering speech. President Joe Biden is calling for $100 billion of funding for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine, and we're supposed to just bundle these together and pretend like we're going to rush to World War III, and we're all just going to let Hillary Rodham Clinton sit here. Okay.
I'm sorry. You know, this is not the way to have a conversation.
I'm sorry.
If you want to have a conversation, you're welcome to come talk to me afterwards.
You can sit here. Okay, right. You're gonna wait for me, right? Please, I do not believe you.
And I will listen to you, and I will respond to you.
I do not believe you. Respectfully, I do not believe you. And the fact of the matter is that the American people's voice are what need to be heard.
Yeah, they are being heard.
Because our president is not speaking for the American people, and neither are you.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Yes, that's my opinion.
Well, then sit down. We've heard your opinion. Thank you very much. Now we're going to turn to people who are...
Do you know how much poll Hillary Clinton has lost? Because if she would have said that 8 years ago, the whole room would have applauded. Everybody's just like, you know what? We don't like him, and he's an asshole. But you, lady, you're the worst.
Do you see how small that room was?
Yeah, people wonder. That election was a hell of a lot closer than people give it credit for. But here's the rest.
I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop
working on behalf of human rights.
I'm going to exercise my free speech.
But it's not free speech when you are disrupting everybody else's opportunity to speak.
This is free speech, everyone. This is free speech. That is not free speech. This is people constructing narratives that are openly hypocritical. I'm sorry. The incredible hypocrisy.
You know, maybe you could actually...
went with Eleanor Roosevelt to bring this Declaration of the Rights of Man. John Foster Dulles was involved with the CIA.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're brilliant in your historical cherry picking.
The Pinochet regime.
Listen.
Could you please inform me about the United States
involvement
in these historical things?
We're going to move on
Ms. Clinton, will you denounce Joe Biden? Will you denounce Joe Biden?
Yeah, listen, the young man is not brave. Some people are like he's brave. He's rattled. Stick to the point, right? It's not about shouting her down. Listen, I love Hillary Clinton on a dais being completely consumed by rage and her blowing up. But my point is, this guy's not a hero, right? But I certainly enjoy this because this is what the left does. They shout down any opposition. When he starts going into, some of the conspiracy type stuff, I'm just like, okay, you're losing me here. But it does take some moxie to stand up there and tell Hillary, considering he's going to be dead tomorrow. So he's going to fall on some bullets on the way home. So, I mean, dude, kid, you might want to just pull it back a little bit because she's like literally like a vampire. The coven is going to suck the blood out of every single person you know. This is Hillary fucking Clinton. She's got a plethora of bodies behind her. Wake up.
Human rights, not just yelling about it. So, Frank, I want to turn to you because You are from Uganda, and
What I
Uganda's
want to hear- what I want to
2023
hear is
Anti-Homosexuality
to
Act
President
criminalizes
Biden's
LGBTI conduct in
trying to
Uganda.
push us to World War III.
Could this been
please.
staged? Are you kidding me? Hillary Clinton never wants to look bad. How could this possibly be staged? Now, did somebody go ahead and plan? Of course he planned this, and there's people in the group. The point is there's no way Hillary was involved in this, right? She's probably just sitting here like, could somebody please kill him? So anybody, I will give you $100 million to your Venmo account if you just take this kid out.
Well, she's starting to get down on his level, which
That's
it
interesting.
shows that.
Well, that's where she's lower than snake shit. Here's the
About
rest.
Israel and Palestine. It's not football. This isn't football. It's not Team America.
Well, I'm sorry, but some of us are on Team America despite our flaws and our
Yes,
problems.
yes,
And
that's me.
some of us,
The illogical emotional fallacy. I'm surprised she didn't talk about kids. The children want us to be here. The children, they're dying. And you're up here spitting these untruths about me and my picture of my husband in a blue dress with Jeffrey Epstein behind the desk. And we don't want to talk about that either.
You can't take over the event. You have to stop right now. You have to stop.
Or what?
Wait, I want to say one thing. Every person on this stage has risked their life, their income, their reputation, their careers, and what have you done other than stay
What have you guys done to risk your life?
I need you to.
No shit.
my record and these women's records and Frank's records against you any day of the year.
I'll respond. What I have done is I have asked Hillary Rodham Clinton to denounce the president's openly warmongering, suicidal, idiotic speech.
and I've
That's
given
what I've
my
asked.
answer. I will
That's
not
what
do
I've
that.
done.
So that's the end of our conversation, but I'll still meet you
I need your
outside. But you're done.
identification right now.
Okay.
I'll still
Frank?
meet you outside. I'd be a little scared
Well,
about that one.
kid's done. I mean, nice knowing you, kiddo. Who wants to chime in here? Because I mean, I've been like, it's a date. Hillary Clinton and I outside. This is going to be. Oh, I've always wanted to date a lizard. So, you know the lizard trope. Okay, Mike, you go. Then Olivia. Then we'll wrap it up.
Well, no, for me, it's one of those just the flat hypocrisy of everything that she says. And obviously, I'm sure at some point there's some provision in this $100 billion that's going to go to the Clinton Foundation so she can still get her cut of whatever war that we're in since she's not Secretary of State anymore. And everything she did for the pay for play and all that crap. Like everything that she says, she's still trying to be relevant. She's not. She obviously thought much more of herself than anyone else actually did. Her time has passed. She cannot get over that, and she's still trying to be relevant. So it's one of those is like, yes, this is funny. Obviously, this is exactly what the left does, but it's one of those that it's like we can get a good little chuckle out of it. But again, now it's Hillary Clinton. It doesn't matter what she says. She's not relevant anymore. So time to move on to someone who can actually do some good for this world. And maybe we will have a female president that can actually do some good. And I know we're very bad with Joe Biden. I don't want to know how much worse it would be if she was actually president.
I hate to say it. I really do. But she's predictable. She's a progressive war hawk. She's always been that way. And, dare I say, we would have hit Iran when we could have. And I don't like Hillary Clinton. I despise the lady. But I'm just telling you, Joe Biden is so inept and so just, God, make a decision, right? And stick to it. Either you are responsible for gas prices or you're not responsible. At least Hillary Clinton goes, I was in Bosnia and I was under sniper fire. And she's like, well, they were firing shots in the general vicinity. At least she has the wherewithal. Joe Biden would have been like, listen, I'll take you around back and I'll beat the shit out of you. And you're just like, what the hell? Or you start talking about roaches and kids and hairy legs and stuff. I mean, the guy doesn't make any sense. At least at least Hillary can take a position no matter how wrong it is. Joe Biden, he's indecisive. He's a fart in the wind. Just drives me crazy. Liv, what do you think about our wonderful Hillary Clinton?
I wonder what she was more mad at. The fact that the kid interrupted her moment, or the other lady that spoke got a bigger round of applause than she did.
Right, she's going to die too. The fact that the kid showed her respect. You notice he didn't interrupt her. He let her finish.
Yep.
And that's the standard I see on this show all the time is when people call in and they want to have a conversation, it goes very well. But when people want to call in and just grab ass and start slamming each other, we can do that too. But it's never going to be productive. It's never going to get anywhere. But you're right. I mean, half the people on that stage are going to. And then what about the other guy? What about the Chinese person and the black person? They didn't defend Hillary, so they're going to die. She's going to kill them all. I mean, everyone in that room is going to die. So we're going to have to go ahead and track this and see how many people. 47 people who attended Hillary Clinton's conference have all died of heart attacks or all been drafted into the Ukraine war. We're on our final minute. I appreciate it. Interesting night tonight. Had a lot of good conversation at the beginning and at the end. A lot of anger coming from this side of the room. I'll just be honest, my last minute. I was very frustrated. I don't like people who use being poor as an excuse. My wife and I have had $1.26 to our name, and dinner was ramen.
Ramen noodles or macaroni and cheese. Take your pick.
That was it.
And then the splurge was the dollar menu at McDonald's every once in a while.
Yeah, when we wanted to watch porn together, we had to actually turn the channel to the rainbow channel backwards and forwards and try to tune it in. And 300 times, finally you get it in and you get Skinamax for like 5 minutes. That's a lie. That never happened. That was when I was 12. But we went through our hardships. We went through our times of not having money. We called family members and said, help us. We never stole. We never did anything unethical. And in fact, the one time that we did, we felt so bad because we left something underneath the cart. I think it was kitty litter or something, and realized that we didn't ring it up and felt absolutely horrible about it. So my point is, don't steal. Don't lower yourself, because the cost of that is much worse than the money you don't have. And as far as Hillary Clinton, Mike, you nailed it. She's trying to stay relevant. She's not. Nobody cares what she has to say. And she's just waiting for something to happen to Joe Biden so she can run again, and they'll tap her on the shoulder. This is why they're propping Kamala Harris up. They will not run Hillary Clinton again. Hillary Clinton will have to die knowing that she will never reach the glass ceiling, and that happy birthday post where she said, "Happy birthday, Mr. President," to her, or Mrs. President to herself, will never come to fruition. And there's nothing that makes me happier. It gives me warm cackles in my heart. Mike, take us out, and then Olivia.
So I know we talked a lot about the Marine Corps birthday getting canceled. Obviously, that speaks volumes for where we're at with this war and what we're likely going to get into. The one thing I just kind of want to stress is obviously there's a lot of Americans. There's obviously Israelis that are getting killed and in harm's way. Definitely keep them in your thoughts and their prayers. If we do have to get into this fight, even if it's just with our aircraft going in, whether it's air support or it raids, anything else that we're doing, Americans are likely going to get hurt, and that means that more Americans are going to have to go in and get them. So it's one of those, if you see the military, police, everyone out there, make sure you thank them. They're doing jobs that are getting more and more impossible because we're continuing to hamstrung what they're allowed to do. So just keep them in their prayers. If you see a vet, you see a police officer, you see nurses, you see your school teachers out there, make sure you thank them so that way they know that we have the country has their back. So when they have to go do the horrible things that they have to do to keep us safe, they at least know what they're fighting for.
Well said. Well said, Olivia. I know. How did we do tonight? We had a lot of people on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite a few.
Oh, is there no specifics? Just a lot?
Well, since my screens are smaller, screens are bigger now, I can't watch the numbers. So, but the highest I saw was like 19 on YouTube and 47 on Rumble. So Rumble was up.
Yeah, and we had 161 on Facebook. So we clipped 225 tonight. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's
unfortunately, Spreely wasn't up though. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Not sure.
I think they're just trying to get everything ironed out and all the bugs fixed. So,
all right. Well, everyone head over to YouTube, please. Subscribe.
YouTube.
219 subscribers left to get us to 1,000.
Yeah, if you guys could do that.
I would love to get there by the end of the year. If we got there by Thanksgiving, I'd be ecstatic.
Please do me a favor. Please head on over to YouTube. Give us a like, follow. Even if you don't go over there, you're like, YouTube's fascist. Think how hard it is to grow on there. It may be fascist, but it is a channel that we need to be on. And honestly, a lot of people like our stuff on YouTube. So if you haven't, share, like, and subscribe. Mike, thanks for being on. I appreciate it. I hope you like your new Green Crayons intro.
It's wonderful. I love how much of a grunt it makes me feel. So I'm actually probably gonna have to go home and eat a crayon now just so I can.
Do you want to come on tomorrow, or do you want to take the day off since you were here so late tonight? Because that's a wicked turnaround.
I say we'll talk about it after. We'll figure it out.
We'll talk about it afterwards. No more shop talk inside in front of everybody. Good night. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show, folks. Please stop over at thedumbshow.com. Pick yourself up a cool shirt, a hat. You can see that we're all wearing Dumb Shows type stuff. The 22 a day. We've got the green line flag, and then
life happens. Wine helps.
Wine helps.
That was definitely my day. That's why I chose the shirt.
Got some good coffee over there. Coffee is shipping again. Holidays are coming up. Use code DUMB10. Save yourself 10%. Go pick up something nice for the wife and kids and the family.
And the Dumb Show Christmas ornament.
The Dumb Show,
which we need to get ours.
And then if you're really, Mike and I have started an OnlyFans channel. If you guys are interested, you
Only
guys
Nubs, come on, get it right.
Onlynubs.com. So please do that. It's unfortunate. It plays against the dichotomy of that I'm a walking tripod and Mike isn't. So then also, let me ask you a question. I'm surprised you picked sled hockey because I think you would have made a great first base in baseball.
Why do you say that?
I get the joke.
A great first base in baseball.
Just okay, that went right over my head. Come on.
Physical first base, being a physical base that somebody touches as they run by. Just yeah.
I get it. Yeah. See, no, it's too late.
It was horrible. It was horrible. It was mean. It's just cruel. I'm such a horrible human. Good night, everybody. I'm so sorry. I have to go count rosary and pray for my soul. We love Mike. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, maybe. Good night. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me
Good night, everybody.
See you guys.